All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to another pre-market session. Today is July 14th, and we're gonna go over a couple of news. Good morning. Good morning, Prashanti. Good morning, Farshad, Sarah, Jagdeep. Good morning, everyone. All right, let's get started. Okay, so first of all, by checking out the S&P 500, you can see a big spike around 8:30 a.m. and that is the CPI. So we had the June CPI came in much cooler than expected, and because of that, we saw this reaction in the price action. And yeah, thanks for letting me know. Okay, so yeah, so the headline CPI is minus 0.4% month over month. Inflation cooled more than expected, and lower inflation is basically bullish for the overall market and the stocks, right? So the Nasdaq and SPY are slightly pushing higher, and money is flowing back to the tech. Big banks had earnings, and JP Morgan had beat earning per share and revenue, and it actually gapped down. So there is possibly something, this gap down is possibly related to the guidance. And yeah, so JPM is broke below this 395, 396 zone, and it's retesting this level and still weak. So in case it gets below the pre-market levels, this gap down can continue pushing lower and hitting 320 and then even 315 on JP Morgan. Goldman Sachs, GS, had reported earning and beat earning and revenue, and it gapped up. So yeah, the strength is really there for Goldman Sachs. It just went from 1,040.50 all the way up till this 1,086.7 right now, and above pre-market level. Potentially, we could see it around 1,100 and 1,120, which is the all-time high, right? This is the all-time high on Goldman Sachs, and it is strongly pushing higher in the pre-market. So definitely on watch for the day. IBM is down around 24%. Weak guidance for the next quarter, and as a result, we are seeing a massive drop on IBM from 290 down till 220. It's right around these areas. This is a demand zone where we are sitting right now on IBM. Now, in case the price slightly hold around these areas, we might see some sort of gap fill setup. So if you probably want to trade IBM above this 233.4 area, we might see a push and a gap fill scenario. If the price keeps going lower, I don't have the levels for IBM at this time, but it is just quickly, if we want to go over the levels around these zones, yeah, kind of got it all almost. Okay, so yeah, right around these levels, you see, just retested this 222 zone. If it breaks below this area, push lower, hit this 214 and break below that, we're gonna see a massive sell-off on IBM probably. All right, yeah. So basically, as you see, investors, traders care more about the guidance than the earning itself. Crude oil is around 80 right now. So this is a big deal. This is really a big deal. So we are back above the 200 SMA and above this 150 SMA, if I'm not wrong. Yes, 150 SMA on oil, and it is pushing higher because of the reports of escalation that and in the Middle East and some tensions in between Iran and US. And this is really a strong move on oil. So if it basically pushes back down and holds around this 76 77 area, and definitely it is purely news driven, but if that happens on the technical levels, we are gonna see a possible spike push higher all the way up till at least this 86 87 on oil again. So, and if that happens, it will put pressure on the equities market, obviously. So, Fed Chair Kevin Warsh testifies today, and I think it's around 10 a.m. if I am not wrong. Let me confirm it. Yes, 10 a.m. At 10 a.m. And market will definitely listen to his comments on inflation, interest rates, economy, the future Fed policy, and that is going to be a big deal for the market. NVIDIA is reportedly cutting authorized AI customers in China, or not, in Asia, I guess, by 50%. So it might affect NVIDIA in short term as well. Overall, we saw some weakness on the semiconductors yesterday, and now we're seeing a bounce on the demand zone and the positive news pushing the prices higher on the semiconductors. You can see it on SMH here, right? So this probably means that the rotation is we're seeing some sort of rotation back to tech and semiconductors, at least for now. And with the cool CPI and tech basically moving higher, we might see a continuation, but we will go over the technicals. And one thing that is very important, if you saw yesterday's price action on the overall market on SPY and Qs, the market is really news driven, and because of tensions, the news are basically affecting the market heavily. So you need to be very careful, possibly manage your position sizing and risk in this environment a little bit more. So try to be a little bit more conservative until this passes, and then we can get some sort of clean price action. On the price action side, SPY and Qs are holding pretty well. So let's start with SPY. S&P 500 was holding right above this 749 750 zone on Friday, and then yesterday on Monday we saw the price pushing lower, hitting this 748 749 750 zone again and held. Now in the pre-market we bounced above this level and pushed all the way higher on 15 minute. It is also pretty clear that we held this demand zone. This is the same zone that we couldn't break, that we had hard time breaking for so long, and every time the price reacted to this zone pretty well. So we broke out of this zone, pushed higher, retested, pushed higher. Now we retested and bounced above this area again. Okay, so that is the first thing so far. The demand, the bid is still there on S&P 500 and pushed the price back up higher. The CPI came out and we had this massive spike all the way up till the 754, and then a push back, a consolidation right above this 750 zone. So the whole 750, 749, 748 would be key demand zones on SPY. That if that breaks, we can see S&P 500 pushing lower down till 746 and 744-ish areas. But if it keeps pushing higher above this pre-market level, we could see S&P 500 hitting 756 or 757. But then here we have a key resistance zone that we kept rejecting multiple times, and that is a massive level. So yeah, we are technically in this zone. We're just stuck in this range between 749, 750 and 756. So we need to get out of this zone for a possible clear price action, but at least we are holding this structure so far, confirming that the bid is still holding and strong. If we, as I said, if we lose this level, we're going to go down till 44 and even 740, so 741-ish area. So the key levels I would be watching would be around this 752 all the way up till the 754 zone for a possible break, for a possible hold by the bid, and continuation hitting the 756-ish zone. Or a pushback down, retest of this 748, 749, and bounce above this level. In case of breakdown, then that would be a totally different scenario, a bearish scenario, and depending on the price action, on how the break happens, on how the sellers will take control, we're gonna go for that. But so far with this bullish sentiment because of the CPI, we are still holding pretty well above 750. Now Kevin Warsh will talk at 10, and that can technically change the whole market, right? That has the potential to change the sentiment. So probably around like 10, you want to be careful taking positions or trading with big size. So keep that in mind. Qs. So what is happening on Qs here? So again, pretty much the same scenario. We saw QQQ holding 710 yesterday. So on Friday, we pushed all the way higher, hit 725, but got rejected. Yesterday, after this pre-market gap down, we saw Qs slightly pushing lower, slowly bleeding, moving down till 710, 711. And finally, we're bouncing above this level. Now, what happened in the pre-market? We bounced, we pushed higher, we rejected the same 722 zone on Qs again. So very similar to SPY, we need to see how Qs will hold either this 723, 724 area. If it can break out of this zone and push higher or not. So the key resistance zone would be 722, 725. This whole resistance zone. The key demand zone would be 713 all the way down till 710. This $3 demand zone on Qs. So the possibility of rejection obviously is there. The main thing I would be watching would be first the price action and Kevin Warsh's comments for today. Okay. All right. So let's take a look at Dow Jones. Dow Jones is still holding pretty okay, pretty strong, right above this 519, 520 zone. So it was not able to break 527 and hold there, and that would be our key resistance zone, 728, 727. Sorry, 527, 528 on Dow Jones, and the demand would be right at 520, 519 ish on Dow. And SMH, very similar to Nasdaq's price action. As you see, we spiked after the CPI, we pushed higher, and yeah, we pushed higher, and we are very close to this 615, 619 resistance. So we are clearly stuck in this range. And in the pre-market and yesterday, basically, the price hits 585, 580, 590, almost 580, 590 demand, and bounced above this level clearly in the pre-market, pushing all the way higher and almost retesting this resistance zone. So again, we need to see how the price reacts to this resistance zone. The first obvious reaction would be a rejection. But if the catalyst is strong enough to break through this resistance zone, then we will look for a possible momentum scenario, momentum setup, in case the buyers control above 618, 619, 620 on SMH and hold right above this level. Apple couldn't hold all-time high. Apple had a pretty big rally early in the morning yesterday, pushed all the way higher from 315 all the way up till 320, 324, but then got rejected and pushed back down, and now we are seeing Apple basically forming a fake out setup here. We faked out at the all-time high, and as I said, Apple doesn't have a good reputation on breaking all-time highs and just continuing the move. It just broke all-time high, pushed back down, break down, retested this 317 area, got rejected, and it's selling off. So yeah, I would say below this 312, we might see some sort of selling pressure on Apple, pushing the price back down till around this 310-ish zone on AAPL. I mean, if it pushes higher, that's also a scenario. If it holds here, bounce above this area, break above 318, we might see Apple pushing higher for the all-time high of 323, 324 again. So that might happen. Tesla. Yeah, as I mentioned the last couple of days, not really a fan of trading Tesla, these price actions. But yeah, Tesla is just like stuck forming inside weeks. Held 390 demand zone, which is okay. And yeah, it's just consolidating. It's forming this triangle. It's just stuck in this range, and probably soon we will see some sort of breakout either to the upside or downside on Tesla. Possibly need some sort of catalyst, and yeah, I would say if you want to trade Tesla above this 401, you can go for 404 and 407, 408. If it breaks below 390, that could give us some sort of clean sell-off probably, but we are still holding very strongly above 390, so we'll see what happens. The main areas that I am interested in trading Tesla possibly would be below this 390 or above 414, 415, ideally above 420. NVIDIA is holding pretty okay. I like this breakout and retest of moving averages and holding and bouncing above this level. That is a pretty clean price action. I like that. So we saw NVIDIA broke out of this trend line, pushed higher, retested this zone, and it's bouncing back above this area. So above the pre-market level, we could see potentially NVIDIA pushing higher above this 208. We could see NVIDIA around 211, 212 zone. And I mean, depends on the price action. If we break this, we're gonna continue the rally, possibly. But that would be the key resistance area on watch for NVIDIA. The key demand would be right around this 202 down till 200 for NVIDIA. So we're on a good spot. I guess NVIDIA is a good name on watch for possible continuation, but the 212, 213 is a big resistance zone, so be careful around that. AMD also is moving pretty aggressively in the pre-market. I like this price action on AMD. It's very strong, pushing all the way higher, and yeah, it is right around this 562 breaking. It just happened right now in the pre-market. It just broke out of this 562 level, and it already had a massive move in the pre-market, so that is the only kind of negative part, and which means that it probably needs some sort of consolidation. So in case it pushes higher and holds and retests maybe 555, 557, 560, 561, around these areas, if it holds, that would be a good setup for a possible continuation, or if it just starts rallying right off the bat, that would also be a good setup. But the semis are strong again. AMD is really strong in the pre-market, and it is moving right now. It's just like keep moving higher. So above pre-market level, definitely on watch. We can go for 572, and then 580, 485 is the all-time high on AMD. But don't be surprised if we consolidate or pull back down when the market opens. That might happen. What else? Intel also, I guess, looks pretty good. I like how Intel held above this whole demand zone, and it is strongly, not as strong as AMD, but it is basically bouncing above this level. And above pre-market level, we could see Intel pushing higher and retesting 115. So we are at the demand zone on Intel, and I guess Intel would be a very, very interesting setup. Well, AMD also looks pretty good, but AMD is trying to break a resistance. Intel is at the demand zone and trying to bounce above this level. So if it moves strongly at the market open, this could be a really good setup for possible continuation and moving towards what was the resistance? Towards 114, 115. Meta had this massive rally and pushed back down, and we are right at this 600, almost at 640-ish demand zone. So I like this overall push back down, and if we see Meta pushing higher, getting above 653, 658-ish area, we might see another spike on Meta pushing all the way higher. I like this whole consolidation with lower volume and bouncing above this level. So the price action looks pretty solid. Just you want to wait for the pre-market breakout or 657, 658 on Meta. MU is gapping up like all the other semiconductors. It is right below this 1000 level. This 1000, 1005 would be the key zone that it needs to break. Where is it right now? It's right below it. So we need to see MU above around this 1000, 1010. If this breakout happens and push higher, we could see MU hitting 1050 and then finally 1100, around 1100. It moves around like $70-80 a day, so it is pretty possible for MU. Microsoft, yeah, it's just consolidating. I like Amazon. So Amazon, no, it wasn't Amazon, it was, oh yeah, PLTR, sorry. PLTR was holding this 126. It just broke it and pushed lower. So PLTR definitely on watch for a possible weakness and continuation to the downside below this 122.5 ish areas. Okay, if it keeps rejecting 126, we could see a PLTR moving lower. Okay. Awesome. So as always, I'll be going ahead and trade live with the team. So make sure you check out the link in the description if you want to join us and trade live with us. Okay. I'll see you guys in the